คุณชอบรัฐประหารเหรอกูไม่ได้ชอบ
อย่าไปซีเรียสมาก
ช่วงนี้เป็นไงบ้างฮะเศรษฐกิจโดยรวม
แย่เงียบค่ะแย่มาก
เอาทองไปจำปั๊บมันเหลืออะไรแล้ว
ประยุทธ์โคตรเลวรังเกียจพอแล้วไม่เห็นหัวประชาชนเฉยๆก็ดีนะ
ทำไมหน้าด้านอย่างนี้วะเนี่ย
ยังเชียร์กันอยู่ได้ยังไงอ่ะ
เพราะมันเป็นมาอย่างนี้
ประเทศเป็นของใครวะ
ถ้าเขาจะไปบ้านจอนจะรับเขาไหม
I don't take shit
อย่าลืมกดไลค์และกด Follow แฟนเพจของหาเรื่องและอย่าลืมกด Subscribe และกดกระดิ่งใน YouTube ของหาเรื่องด้วยนะครับคอมเมนต์กันด้วยนะครับจะเข้าไปอ่านทุกข้อความเลยวันนี้นะครับก็มีโอกาสได้มาพูดคุยนะครับกับช่างภาพชื่อดังนะครับที่เกี่ยวข้องกับเรื่องของการประหารชีวิตนั่นเองนะครับวันนี้ก็จะมาคุยกันในหลากหลายมุมมองนะครับเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของโทษประหารชีวิตนะครับที่เกิดขึ้นทั่วโลกนะครับรวมถึงในเอเชียตะวันออกเฉียงใต้นะครับแล้วก็ยังไม่หมดแค่นั้นก็คือประเทศไทยด้วยเหมือนกันนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเดี๋ยววันนี้เราจะมาพูดคุยแลกเปลี่ยนมุมมองนะครับซึ่งวันนี้มีโอกาสมาพูดคุยกันในรายการของเราด้วยนะครับคุณโทชิคาซามานะครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ Thank you for dropping by
Well thank you for having this opportunity for me I appreciate it very much
So can you tell us me and the audience like we know that you're a photographer but you have like a special field
I do many things, but I used to be a commercial photographer doing fashion shootings and commercial shootings and advertising editorials and CD covers. But while I was doing that, I kind of got into this field of photographing youth on death row, and that took whole life of me. That was 1996. I know just the reason that I started doing this is that I'm Japanese, born as Japan and raised in Japan to the age of 15, and then they live in the United States. So there's a lot of issues in the United States that I didn't experience in Japan. Like so many troubles, like the gun issues and drugs and so many crimes, and then the racial issues and all this problems in our society. I had a huge concern about it. And then when I become a father, added on to that, I gotta do something. I mean, I don't want to escape from the situation. Once you started to escape, you just continue to escape and escape. I don't want to go that route. And then I decided to trying to do something about it. So being as a professional photographer, I started to use the photography as a tool. And then when I did the research of gun issues and everything didn't, was big by itself, but wasn't strong for me. I mean, not appealing. But when I started to research on death penalty, that got really, it's a life. To me, life is most precious things. People kill, murder somebody. As a society, only reason that we can solve this issue is to just kill another human being. So I had a huge question about it. But back then, I didn't have any specific opinion of whether I oppose death penalty or for death penalty. I thought, it's terrible crime. This guy did such a terrible crime or rape or whatever, and killed. Maybe these people deserve to die. But I didn't know anything about it. I did the research, and back then, United States had juveniles 16, 17 years old on death row.
18 and 17
Yeah,
Did
so
they
United
look at-
States 18 is adult, considered as adult. 31 state had death row inmate. This was shocking for me. So I really need to see this and then photograph these people or educate myself for this. I'm not a journalist or anything, so I had no idea of how to approach prisons or how to get permissions. So this is crazy story, but I found there is a 16-year-old death row inmate in Alabama. It's the southern state in United States. I pick up a phone and I call
the prison
to the prison and spoke with the warden. Says, hi, my name is Toshi Kazama. I'm calling from New York. I want to take photos of this boy. And he says, hell no, I don't want to waste my time or yours, so don't ever call me back again. He hung up, but as he was hanging up, he says, fuck you to me.
really
Yeah. I look at my phone. It says, wow, he's a prison official, and then just swear at me, right? I immediately call him back.
right away
Right away. And then he got more upset. It's just like every word associated with a F word. F
on the
F,
phone
on the phone. And then at the end, it's just like, he wanted to hang up and then tried to prolong the conversations. Towards the end, he says, oh, I will never give you any fucking permission to you. But if my superior, which is the commissioner of a Department of Correction, because the prison belongs to the Department of Correction. If the commissioner agrees with you, I cannot deny. Oh, thank you. And I hang up. That's how I
so
started.
you found out like
I
how
found
to
out how to do it. And then I got really a little bit smarter. I got a team of pro bono lawyers for this project, writing a letter to the commissioner. And then the obviously no from the commissioner, but team of lawyers got into the point that if you don't give permission to Toshi, who's established photographer, he has a great credential as a photographer. If you deny, we have no choice but we'll sue you. And then he obviously,
so
I got a permission.
oh so finally you got the permission to
It took me about 10 months.
oh
And then from there, it's life-changing experience for me. I've never been to prison. Anybody that wants to go to foreign country, sightseeing places doesn't show you anything. If you go to prison, it shows all the foundation of your country. I visit many prisons around the world by now, and then it's just a pure reflection of how the country is
and the society.
So anyway, I got a permission, and then went to the prison. This warden, when I met him in person, he was very, very nice guy.
The same guy
Same
on the
guy
phone
swears
with the
at
F
me.
word.
Yeah. So often how you have a conversation on the phone, impression on the phone is completely different when you meet a person. First room he took me was execution chamber.
At that time, what kind of method do they use?
Electric chair. Pretty small room, probably like 1.5 meter by a square room. Very just enough to fit the chair. When I got in, it was the room. Immediately, I got a goosebumps because there was smell of human flesh burning smell, and then they're testing the equipment for the execution 2 days after my visit. When they do that, they told me, when you put the switch on, they said it's a brain dead. You don't feel anything. My question was like, have you tried it? How do you know? On the wall, there's a wire goes in to the other side, and then on the other side, there's two switches, not one, and two guards. I mean, they don't have a specific executioner, and the two guards turn on the switch simultaneously, but they don't know which line is connected for the day, so they feel less guilty of killing another human being. I mean, not only this place, but every other execution place that I went to, everybody actually administrating execution told me that, Toshi, please tell this to the whole world so that we don't have to kill any more human beings here. See, nobody's happy killing another human being. It just scars you so deeply inside, these people. While some people support death penalty, oppose death penalty, but they don't dirty their own hands. Here's a death row inmate. He did a terrible crime. Here's a gun. John, hold the gun and then pull the trigger and kill this person. You don't want to do it, right? And they don't want to do it, but it's part of their job. They have to do it. Everybody that I met, if they have a choice, if they get the same pay, they will change the job immediately. Execution order is signed by the usually governor or ministers or somebody official. It's far distance from the execution chamber. These people who sign the paper doesn't actually come down to
do it.
But it's just for them, it's a piece of paper. And then this is another story. This warden who really said a lot of hard words to me. At the end, hey Toshi, you're very different from anybody that I met. I want to have your photograph of the electric chair. I want to hang behind my desk. I thought it was such a bad taste to have the electric chair photograph behind his desk. I will not do it. I'm not gonna have you do that. But this is after I met him. So I just started to think, what if I was him as warden? He wants the photos. So I said, okay, I'll make a print. So I went back to New York and made a print. And then instead of sending it, I went back with my assistant. In person, I gave it to him. Oh boy, he was in tears. And he hugged me. Here, you're my best friend from now on. So many people came to my prison. They promised me so many things with me while they're here, but not even one of them kept any promises. Toshi, you're the first person who kept the promises. And then not only that, you had a courtesy of revisiting me in person to hand out these photos. From now on, my prison is always open to you. This is the prison that he says, hell no, I don't want to waste my time or yours. That kind of snowball effect, when I approached next state, they already knew me, got easier, and I had a similar relationship with the prison officials. By the time I'm calling third states, yes, Toshi, we know about you. Normally, all the journalists and photographer, if they get permissions, they get interviewed through the grass barriers. Can we arrange something special, something else for you? I said, yes, please. And then I go even to their cell and photograph. Day after I took the first photograph of the death row inmate, 16-year-old, I flew back to New York and I have to shoot the record CD cover for the major album, major record company. I used to love it, but the weight of it is like no comparison for me. I don't want to waste any more time of my talent or time towards somebody else make money through my photograph. So I just put the whole thing into it. It was tough since then because I have 3 kids. I have to raise support them. So and then around the time after 1 year, I was assaulted. I picked up my daughter. She was 9 years old from elementary school. On the way back, this crazy maniac randomly decided to attack anybody on the street. I happened to be walking in front of him. So according to my daughter and police report, I was attacked from behind and smashed my head to the pavement. I became immediately unconscious. According to my daughter, the blood was shooting out from my head and ear. While I was unconscious, a doctor told my wife that your husband has very little chance of coming back to life. So please prepare for the worst. But against all the odds, on the 5th day, I started to return. I'm coming out of coma. My friends came over to my ICU bed. Everybody says, Toshi, you're such a great guy, nice guy. I can't believe anybody do such a terrible things to you. We're gonna find this guy and we're gonna kill him. I said, no, please don't. All I need is apology from this guy. Because my 3 kids came, when I regained consciousness, my 3 kids came to my bed. And then I never seen their faces like that. Their faces are full of fear. They don't know what's going to happen because I might die or, anything. I told my kids, hate the crime, be angry with the violence, but never hate the person.
Why?
Through this project, by the time I get assaulted, I met so many victims' family. I learned so much from them. If I become, let's find these things, let's revenge, my loving family have to suffer. They have to live their life with revenge and anger and hatred. So this perpetrator who commit this crime to me, they damage me physically, but I don't want to have our good love part of a family taken away either. So if I got into the revenge mode, he wins. I suffer more. My family will become more victimized. I see many victims' family. Some people are still in the hatred and revenge mode. You don't believe this. Eventually, they cannot go on with their life and they take their own lives. No one cannot go on with their life with the full of anger and hatred. So eventually, some victims' family, they're not really forgiving the perpetrator, but then they're forgiving themselves from hating and anger. Because in order to go on with any human beings, cannot go on with a full of hatred and anger. I built like so many victims' families organizations, and then there are amazing people, but everybody goes through this. In the beginning, almost everybody hate and anger, full of revenge mode. But after drinking so many alcohol or not with anger, you're going to dark side, and then that's not healthy to you. Eventually, slowly, it depends on the individuals, right? Victims' family, if they decided to go on with their life, that means if they decide to live, at some point, it's a gradual process. It's not immediate process. It differs when. Some people 5 years, some people 2 years, some people 10 years, some people 15 years, 20 years. But eventually they have to change. Ordinary people, they only see that the victim's family as TV image or newspaper.
Or they're a supporter of the...
Yeah, immediately after the crime, yes, they're on the revenge mode, right? And then they think is, oh, yes, they think it's like, if my family member is killed, yes, I'm going to revenge and kill this guy and fighting, and then, yes, that's the outside talking. And then all the images and information you get from the victim's family is immediately after the crime happens. And then, but people would change. And then so many victims' family, I organized in Asia as well, Japan, and meeting with so many victims' family around the world. And then I do so many events with them. tours and everything, they still suffer. Even myself, it's a consistent battle of like, yes, I have a ringing sound. I'm talking to you. I cannot hear other people talking, but I know if I think that way, it doesn't bring any peace to me or to my family. So it's a struggle. But for the other people, they label them, the victim's family is this way. They want the revenge, full revenge, maximum sentence. They want the life things.
Do you think is it because the society feels like executing someone or just having a revenge or something like that is easier?
Exactly. The human being has something unknown or something they think they know, easier to have a system within themselves that to process. Let's see, somebody's angered. Yes, the victim should be this way, because if I'm a victim, they imagine they don't become a victim, they'll act that way, and then it was easy process for them. It's harder process for them to actually victim's family, after a certain period of time, coming out to public, saying, I don't seek the maximum. When they hear this, they think this guy is a bad victim. They don't love the family member who's killed. That's easy process because they don't want to deny, they don't want to relearn who they are truly and what they went through. As a public, they have just one-way direction, because any human beings, let's see if I'm white and then I never met black people or something. I don't know your culture. I don't know your things, so I just labeled you as black. That's it. They don't want to re-educate themselves. They want to accept the unknown things. They want to just shut down. It's far more easy. Hatred is far more easy and stronger. But to accept and love and then be compassion is, we have that nature as well. But it's a little bit harder. But you need to really understand, because people, even as I'm here talking about death penalty, because I was one of them. I didn't know what the reality of death penalty. But after I learned it, I could not just shut my eye and then, go back to my old life before. I have to be advocate and then trying to bring more messages from my own experience and my photographs. Other people don't really know the reality of death penalty, but they judge immediately how it is and then how important the death penalty is, and the execution is killing another human being is a must thing. I mean, we have a human race from very beginning. It's a history of killing, right? So many war, so many killings. In the name of religion, we kill so many people. In the name of race, we kill so many people. We kill and kill.
And now we're killing in the name of justice.
In the justice, and some people says it's in the name of victim's family, but they don't dirty their own hands. They ask a weaker one to kill another human being. When you have a country has a death penalty, if you have this drug trafficking or any crime, we just kill you. Does that mean that we become safer society by killing another human being? Because if you don't have a death penalty or a punishment, we have to focus on prevention. While we have the death penalties in the system, society don't really focus on the prevention, so that you and I don't have to become a victim. You and I don't have to become a killer as well. We have to focus on the preventive factor, how we can prevent similar crime to be happen. When you discuss that, we have to dissect the case and person from every angle possible and study from it. And then meanwhile, this person has to be rehabilitated. So in case this person end up going back to society, needs to be a positive factor, not as a criminal. Everything, we don't have a perfect system that will solve all the crimes. As a society, we put our heads together. How we can make our society better so that we don't have this similar crime to happen in the future. That process alone is the best preventive things. There's one country that I know that exercising this is Norway. They don't focus on the punishment. They focus on restorative justice. How the society can restore from this crime. How the victim's family can recover from this crime. Well, and then the perpetrator, how we can rehabilitate this. They focus everything based on that. So some according to the inmates, they'll send them to the mountains without any fences and having natures, and then when they come back to society, making sure that there's so many watching him over, and then he has to report and everything, so that he become more positive. And then they don't release until they guarantee they find it is become
It's safe.
safe.
So we're talking about effort, giving effort or trying to make society better.
Yeah, I mean, we lack of effort. We just put another punitive, code to it.
Let's just punish him, and maybe he'll learn.
Or society will learn.
Uh-huh.
Right, we give this penalty. If you kill somebody, you get killed. So you don't kill somebody. No. When the person kill another person, they don't really think about the punishment that will occur to themselves. That's why there's so many death row inmates around the world. So,
do you have hope right now? Because like what you told me is like the society very, looks at the easy way out, like punishing, executing, or even like for the inmates who go into prison, like what you told me is when they get into prison, they don't like get better. They're coming out like maybe worse because the experience they get in prison too. So do you have any hope? Like for you've been doing since 1996.
I
Do you
think
see it like the ray of light?
Yeah. So I hope I become one of the hope in a small way. So throughout my photography of photographing juveniles in the United States, so 2005, because one of my subjects went Supreme Court and abolished death penalty for juvenile offenders. So there is a progress, and then also in Mongolia, I visited like for 2 years, and the president of the Mongolia wanted to abolish death penalty, but the parliament is supported by oppositions. So there's a famous like a capital judge. It's just like Supreme Court justice. She is like a big fan of death penalty. So I had a meeting with this judge. In the beginning, she was like so like an authoritarian figure. And then as I was discussing, I found a really good quality in her, that once she give a sentence, she frequently visit these inmates in prison. And I never been to many places, but she's the only one as a judge doing it. So I respected that. I open up her heart. 1 hour talking, I see this like a really amazing quality as a human being. and then there's love in it, and but she didn't know how to reflect that as well. After one hour, we hugged each other, and she says from now on, she opposed death penalty, and that would become a huge news. I mean, immediately after newspaper interview, she mentioned that gave a shockwave to the system. And then the second time I visited was the murder victim family from the United States. Went to Parliament, the majority party chairperson. His reason was that he supports death penalty because for the victims' family. I'm here with a 5 victims' family, and they really understand what the victim family go through, how they feel by the time changes and everything, and that was eye-opener for him. So after the meeting, he says he'll trying to persuade the other members, and then trying to put on the next bill, and he did. After that, they implement abolishing death penalty in law completely. So Mongolia abolished death penalty. So even the majority of the European Union, which is states, right? Europe, they see the value of how the society benefit from abolishing death penalty. For example, France was famous for the guillotines and everything, right? Long history of execution. So when the top leaders says that abolishing death penalty, majority of people in France still supported death penalty. But time passed by, years and 2 years and 5 years, they see the benefit, and then they oppose death penalty now, majority of. All the human rights starts with not killing another human being. We can't even talk about human rights if we don't have a life. I see some changes. Yes, it's not enough, and then also at the same time, I have so many people that echo with me and it supports me. I think it's not only me. So many people are doing it too. Not only the death penalty, but anything they're doing. I mean, being as a parents is always fighting, protecting their kids, and then trying to think about great life for their own children and everything. That's trying. That's a trying in progress. And then for any parents, they don't want to have the worst or worse society when they grow up, right? As they grow up, they want to make a better society. I mean, when you think about protecting their own kids, you can't just protect their kids in home. It's a society. You have to contribute and trying to
make the society
effort.
better.
Yeah. So I think it's people, not only me or you or anybody, but everybody is doing it in their own way.
When we talk about death penalty, do we have to talk about like the governing system too? Like the country that have democracy, do they have like more transparency, or like they discuss more about like abolishing death penalty, or you think it's not a factor? Like in Thailand, because sometimes we hear the news about a scapegoat and stuff like that, and so we question death penalty too.
It's hard to believe, but there's so many innocent people sentenced to death. If you like Chicago, I mean Illinois, one of the states in the United States, did the DNA test for all the death row inmate, and the majority became innocent. Was innocent.
The majority of the testing.
So many. I wouldn't say majority. So many people. So I photographed like 21 juveniles, right? And then many of them claiming they're innocent. And then one of them exonerated. Rare case. He had a good lawyer. In Japan, there's a famous case of Hakamada. He's a former boxer. During the trial, the judge, Chief Justice for this crime, was writing a non-guilty verdict. According to the evidence and whole procedure, he was writing. But senior judge forced him to write the guilty verdict because the police and prosecutors are so connected and they're government side. So they want to make sure that case go through. This judge in Japan couldn't take the guilt. So he retired after 6 months from the case. So this is happening everywhere. Same thing with a politician in many ways, right? I think that the politicians, I met so many top politicians in different countries. I thought their priority to think about the country and the people of the country, not even close. Their priority is to maintain a power. And the second priority is to gain the power. Regardless of issue, doesn't matter. Death penalty is often used as a tool for the powerful people to remain in power. Many countries, if you rage against the government or system, you'll be killed. Just for me, as I said, the human race is about the killing, right? History of killing. I don't want to live and build our society with more corpse lying in our society. Death penalty used wrong way is that in China, if you become a death row inmate, first thing they would do is check your blood type. Often that the prison get called for the next organ needed, and then they'll find the best match, and then they execute. And then also there is a exhibition. It's called body exhibitions. All this, the body is like plasticized, become plastic, and it shows, they do a tour. And then the France, when they had an exhibition in France, they found out that was all death row inmate in China. So if you see the body exhibition, it's all Chinese people. To me, life is most precious things we have. And I respect, my life means I respect your life as well. Thailand is, I believe, is a Buddhist country. That's the belief, right, of respecting life. But when the crimes they see, all of a sudden they change. And then they become revenge mode. And that's very dangerous. And because they only know half truth, and they don't know the reality of death penalty, and they don't know so many things. Yet they attack, like victim's family, say they oppose death penalty. You're a bad victim family. They attack these people. In Japan too, my friend was a victim family. I mean, his brother was killed, and then he supported the perpetrator because that was the best healing process, meeting the perpetrator in prison. That happened many times for the victim's family, actually facing the killer, and then he opposed death penalty. And then the public throw the stone at his home, and door is like, you're a bad victim's family. His phone was ringing all the time. These things happen. I mean, I heard that similar things that in Thai who oppose death penalty get attacked and punished and so on. If you have that much energy to attack somebody, I hope the energy goes to learn more about the reality of death penalty, how the system is being manipulated in many ways. And then it's not mean that the victim's family don't love or anything. It's they have much deeper love that you can imagine. If they oppose death penalty, it comes from a lot of suffering that go through. I mean, victim's family, including myself, victim. If you become a revenge, it's a cycle of a revenge. It will go, keeps on going, revenge after revenge. We, victim's family, have to stop this system cycle. Eye for eye, make us all blind. Life for life, make us all dead.
สั่งซื้อเสื้อหาเรื่อง Limited Edition หมดแล้วหมดเลยได้ทาง Line @orderbeauty เพียงตัวละ450 บาทเท่านั้นย้ำหมดแล้วหมดเลยนะครับ